Even been looking for clout, counting my blessings, I'm ready to fish. Writing out camps, I'm making a list. I'm checking it twice and I'm getting them hit. Truth has been hid, false doctrine is lit. Religion be lying, I'm back on my ish. My Bible is old, my notebook is old, but that's how I like it, you know what it is. I'm in the word, it's hard I admit. Not in the camp, but I'm cracking the whip. Might cut a brew, but it's all fellowship. I'm not preaching on corners, you do as you wish. Roll with my ox, I love him to death. We follow the law, don't wanna be rich. What good is the bread if my ox is...
Shalom, family. I just wanted to take a few minutes to make a point, man. Right out the gate, I love my brothers and my sisters. Whether you be Christian, whether you be Hebrew Israelite, whether you just still trying to figure it out, man, I love you and I want to see nothing but the best for you. I want to see you develop a strong and really close-knit relationship with the Father. But I just gotta say this. I made a video a good while back, and I was basically saying, you know, there's levels to this truth, and that still rings true. But like, I just gotta like place emphasis on it. You know what I mean? Like, it baffles my mind how we as a people, supposedly woke, right? Supposedly in the truth, right? And we say we're so dedicated to the Most High, we love the Most High, and that we're actually scholars, and we study the Word, and yet we still hold on to these false doctrines. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I can only go off of my own experience, my own personal journey, right? You know, I was in Christianity for so many years, over 10. You know, deep in the ministry, not just the, you know, regular non-reading Christian. I was deep in the ministry, and it didn't wake me up until I actually had to leave the country for a year, so that the Most High could remove all of the Christian influence from around me and allow me to actually study the Word with new eyes, right? So I can understand to an extent like how I stayed in that false doctrine for so long. But then, you know, when I came out of Christianity, I became a Hebrew Israelite. But it didn't take long for me to realize that was false doctrine too. So I left. And literally, like, it was less than 2 months. And here's the thing though. I look now and I'm seeing all these posts and I'm seeing all of these people talk and they sharing information. But it's all the same regurgitated nonsense. Like, don't get me wrong. To this day, I got some good Christian brothers and sisters who actually study the Word, who actually follow the Most High the way the book tells them to, right? For whatever reason, they're comfortable with the name Christian. They hold on to it. I don't know, right? When you do the research on the name Christian and how Christianity originated, I personally wouldn't want nothing to do with that. However, I can't knock them, especially if they are doing what they're supposed to do, right? I got some Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters, some good Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters who are doing what they're supposed to do. They just rock with it because, you know, that's just what they know. All right, cool. I'm not mad at that, right? They doing what they're supposed to do. I'm talking about the majority of these other brothers and sisters that just seems like they are asleep and cannot wake up. At some point, you have to grow. You have to grow and mature in your walk, in your faith, in your knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And you cannot be stagnant and remain in some of these false doctrines. I get it. When you first hear about, oh, we the people of the book, we the chosen, let's wake up. That should give you encouragement to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. But then eventually you need to start reading the Bible, right? Start reading the Bible and realize that One, you can't even prove that you people of the book. You can't hold on to a bloodline you can't fact check. Two, the Bible doesn't just talk about you. Was the patriarchs black? Yes. Right? Is the Most High black? Yes. Is the Messiah black? Yes. Right? We were made in their image, right? Okay, I get that. However, that is in regards to having melanation. That is not in regards to being a bloodline relative. It's different. Because if we follow this book, we have to adhere to how lineage works in the book. You can't ignore how lineage works in the book and then claim to it, and you don't check the box. You don't meet the requirement. If you're gonna follow the book and adhere to it, then you gotta adhere to the requirements it sets forth, especially about lineage. Too much emphasis is placed on, hey, wait, what happened? You know, we the people of the book. You an Israelite, bro. You an Israelite, sis. Like, too much energy, too much focus. It's too much focused on that. What you need to be focused on is keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments and being a light to other people, right? And the racial aspect of it just makes it worse, because you only looking at people with melanation. You only looking at melanated skin for the most part. If you only focus on them, you're missing out on a whole plethora of people who are diligently seeking the Most High, and they're trying to get to wherever you are, right? They're getting ignored. And then we telling them that the book speaks against them. Oh, you a Gentile. Oh, yeah, you this, you that. You Esau. You a heathen. You an other nation. We don't mess with you. Da-da-da-da-da. When clearly the book speaks against that. Clearly. But we hold on to what we were taught. We hold on to what we were taught in Christianity. We hold on to what we were taught in this truth, right? And I say truth with quotations because, listen, truth stands alone by itself. It doesn't need anybody to reiterate, to support it, to build it up, to edify it, or nothing. By itself, it stands on its own. And too many people are claiming to be in the truth. And what is the truth? Just being a Hebrew Israelite, that's the truth? No, if that's the truth, then you need to study, because what's coming out of y'all mouths in these videos, what's being typed out and displayed on y'all posts, and what's being said when y'all congregate together, and the stuff y'all promote, that's not truth. That is false doctrine. That is traditions and teachings of man, which clearly the Bible speaks against. I had a conversation with a Christian yesterday, and it is amazing how the indoctrination has been so deeply instilled in some people that you could be speaking completely from a factual, right, an evidence standpoint, and they will still cling to their own opinions in the face of facts. You're like, listen, the Bible says XYZ, and you quote it directly. You give historical evidence, bam, bam, bam. You give translational evidence, bam, bam, bam. Transliterational evidence, bam, bam, bam. Cultural evidence, bam, bam, bam. You line it up, bing, 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 and then they go, well, I feel like, oh, I think, oh, that don't sit right with me. How is that factual? But that's how it be, right? And then on the other side of the spectrum, because this is how I view it, Christian and Hebrew Israelite are like Democrats and Republicans. Far left, far right, right? Two heads of the same snake. Both are wrong. Both are wrong. Both got some truth in them, right? Partially, but individually they stand alone in error. And what you need to do is figure out how to grow beyond both. If you're a Christian, okay, cool. If you still want to hold on to the title Christian, that's fine. It's not for me, but that's fine. But what you need to do is to elevate your mindset and your consciousness beyond the boundaries of Christian theology. If you're a Hebrew Israelite, cool. To me, in my mind, the way I did the journey, Hebrew Israelite was one step up from Christianity, right? It allowed me to become more of a historical scholar and to dive into the translations and trying to get the understanding of the true context more than I did in Christianity. So all praises to the Most High for that time period. Even though it was a rough time period, right? I'm thankful and grateful for my journey thus far, because if it wasn't for the decisions that I made, then I wouldn't be where I am today, right? You learn through trial and error, you grow, you know what I'm saying? Once you know better, you do better. I say it all the time. But on the Hebrew Israelite side of the house, it's not like you become a Hebrew Israelite and then that's it, you stop. You should never stop wanting to grow. You should never stop wanting to elevate. When I was a Christian, I was in more error. When Hebrew Israelite was presented to me, right? The way I carry myself in life is whatever my current belief system is, I look at it like a sheet of paper and you hold it up to the light. Whatever new information that's presented to me is a new sheet of paper and I hold that up to the light. Whichever sheet of paper has less holes, that's the sheet of paper that I go with. And when I was a Christian, I put that Christian sheet of paper up. I put the Hebrew Israelite sheet of paper up. And that Christian sheet of paper had more holes than the Hebrew Israelite. So I picked up the Hebrew Israelite sheet of paper. And then when more information was presented to me, not too long after that, that new sheet of paper had less holes than Hebrew Israelite. So I left Hebrew Israelite. Right? And in my life, daily, I treat every new piece of information as a sheet of paper. Now, it's not so much on full belief systems, right? Because now I don't adhere to any religion. I don't adhere to any group. I don't adhere to any type of doctrines. I literally just follow the text. I am a student of the word. I follow and serve the Most High, right? That's what I do. But on a minor level, dealing with individual topics, doctrines, theories and stuff like that, yes, I have my current understanding, and then I have the information that's presented for a new understanding, and I hold those up. Whichever has the least amount of holes, I go with that. And that's how I always keep myself in a state of being uncomfortable. Because when you get comfortable, that's dangerous. The enemy wants you more than anything to become stagnant, because if you're stagnant, you're not growing, and if you're not growing, you're not benefiting anyone, right? So keep yourself in a state of being uncomfortable. I can't stress it enough. And when new information is presented that doesn't agree with your current understanding, do not be so quick to reject it. Examine it like the scriptures tell us to do. Proverbs tells us if we don't examine the whole matter and we judge it before we even look at it, then it's foolishness. It's literally foolishness. Do not indulge in the folly. If you are presented with something that goes against what you currently understand, say, okay, I don't agree. However, I will look into it, and actually do your due diligence in looking into it. If it turns out that it was just nonsense at the end of the day, then all praises. At least you gave it the benefit of the doubt, right? You put the effort in. But you be surprised. What you think when you first hear something that's wrong, it might actually be, you know what I'm saying, the truth. I'll give you an example. Flat Earth. When I first heard it, I laughed at it. But I gave it the due diligence, and I couldn't debunk it, right? Certain doctrines of Christianity that I was stuck in, when somebody said, no, that's wrong, that's not right, that's pagan, that's satanic, and all kinds of things, I was like, what? But I looked into it. True. Pagan, Easter, Christmas, other holidays, certain doctrines in the Christian church, like the virgin birth and the Trinity doctrine and stuff like that. Hold on one second. Morning.
Happy day.
You too. But yeah, other doctrines like that, man. You can't just think that what your current understanding is, what your current belief is the correct one. You always have to be willing to grow. You always have to be willing to examine new evidence, right? It's levels to this truth. It absolutely is. And when I say levels to this truth, I'm not talking about truth itself. I'm talking about in you. It's levels. And the more you grow, the more you understand, the closer you get to that truth. The truth doesn't change. It's you, right? You have to do the work. You have to ask the right questions. You have to put in the time, the effort, and the energy, and take your pride away. Put it on the shelf. Put it on the shelf. Because the more you learn, and if you are a true scholar, right, you really actually seek knowledge, the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know anything. So if you are out here puffed up in vain knowledge, and you think you know everything, you thinking you know it all, and you an elder, you a pastor, you a captain or something like that, you are the worst for Israel. You're the absolute worst for Israel. There's nothing worse than an individual who thinks that they know it all, and they are unwilling to adhere to correction. They are unwilling to adhere to new presented information. They're unwilling to look into it. They're unwilling to hear the thoughts, the opinions, and stuff like that from other people, even those underneath them. They're just unwilling to move. They're unwilling to grow. If you're unwilling to grow, you are a tumor. I'm sorry. I don't mean to sound like I'm casting shade, but I'm just speaking facts. You are a tumor. You are a cancer to Israel. And you grow up, man. It's like a kid, man. You grow up. You're a Christian? Cool, man. Cool. Are you gonna grow up? Did you elevate? Or are you still adhering to the same Christian doctrines? You still living your life, your whole life, believing in the same things. Right? Grow up, man. Oh, you elevated? You a Hebrew Israelite now? Oh man, you came out of the church? All praises. You gonna grow up? Or are you gonna still keep adhering to those same false doctrines? You gonna spend your whole life in this truth? You gonna spend your whole life saying Esau the white man? You gonna spend your whole life saying only black people is Israel? You gonna spend your whole life not actually reading the word, just reading what's given to you by your elders, your captains, whoever's in charge of you at your congregation or your camp? You gonna spend your whole life there? Are you gonna do any self-study, independent study, away from influence? Are you going to rely on the Most High to show you in the scripture, not what somebody else is? Are you going to continue to be, I don't even know if this is a word, rejectful? And if it ain't, I'm making it up today. Are you going to still be resistant and rejectful to new information that's presented to you just because it doesn't agree with Deuteronomy 68, 15 through 68? Right? Are you going to grow up? Are you going to elevate? Are you going to be able to realize that the Most High resides within you? Are you going to have a spiritual awakening? Are you going to wake up and elevate? Are you going to help and encourage other people to do so? Oh, here's a good one. Now that you're a Hebrew Israelite, right, and you're elevated out of Christianity, are you going to go back to those who are still lost in Christianity and help pull them up to where you are? Help them elevate. Do what you can to uplift them. Because something had to happen for you to elevate, right? The only way you can grow is if you are in a state of being uncomfortable. We don't like being uncomfortable. We don't like it. We don't like to be in a place where we feel like no matter how we move, how we shake, it just don't seem right. But once you break through that uncomfortableness, once you break through, you realize and you're rewarded with new understanding. And then when you think about it, you're like, man, I'm closer to the Father now. We have a better relationship. I feel like I'm more knowledgeable of the scriptures. I feel like I'm more knowledgeable of the culture, of the language, right? Of the history. I feel like I'm more knowledgeable of myself. How about that? How about that? I want to know who's willing to elevate. Who's willing to grow up? Who's willing to be uncomfortable? Y'all think about what I said, man. This video 20 minutes. Let that sizzle in your spirit. Shalom, family.
Akis is lost. What good is salvation my brothers can get? Most on my mission, that's why I can't quit. Just like it's shy, we bringing them scripts. Sis put that rolling right back on my wrist. These fringes from Riri, they doing it big. Zakaya, my sis, she raising the kids. The future of Zion, I'm placing my bid. But I don't debate with a brother for nothing. If I cut a brood, then it's gonna be legit. Won't be for pride or likes. Won't be cause I just be ready to fight. Won't be to say you my latest new album. It won't be cause some people think that they right.